very much, DD, and good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone is staying safe during this difficult time. Without any further ado, I'm going to turn things over to WWE's Executive Vice President of Global Talent Strategy and Development, Paul Triple H Levesque.
Welcome to the call, everybody, and thank you for being here. Again, I really appreciate everybody joining these calls and being a part of this. Before we start today, I just wanted to offer my sincere condolences to the family of George Floyd and to the families of the countless others that have lost their lives due to senseless violence. Just wanted to say that before we get started. So with that, I know we have a lot of international people, additional, more so than usual today on the call, so welcome. I'm very, very excited about this card. One, for us to be back in the takeover business, so to speak, with everything going on with, the COVID situation and everything happening, for us to be back having a takeover. And it seemed very apropos and in the moment, while everybody is in quarantine and everything else, to be bringing back In Your House, which I think a lot of people look back on at the time in WWE very fondly and see those as fun and entertaining pay-per-views. I'm excited to bring that back. I think there will be a lot of fun little history pieces and things that people will enjoy in this that will be very retro, but will make them current to today. And as far as I'm concerned, I think this card is spectacular, and I'm always feel like we present a great card that then tends to even exceed expectations. This one I would expect to be no different. As you saw last night, Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart, Mia Yim versus Candice Gargano, LeRae, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez in a six-woman tag, sort of stemming off of the Candice turn and everything happening around that. These are some of the most amazing female performers, and I shouldn't even say that. It's just amazing performers that we have in the industry, in the WWE. And I really expect a lot out of this match. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the opportunity for all of them to show what they can do on this platform and take it to the next level. And it should be a hell of a match. Johnny Gargano and his turn has created an entire new dynamic for Johnny that, as one of the most consistent and exceptional performers in NXT, now with this new character and new sort of slant to everything that he is bringing to the table, where it's Johnny Gargano's way, this is an entirely different match now. He brings something unique to the table, and he needs to against somebody as formidable as Keith Lee. You can make the argument that Keith had maybe the best 2019 of anybody in the WWE. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, to me, two completely different styles, but something that I'm looking forward to very much. Damian, the opportunity to compete against a veteran like Finn and show what he can do, and Finn Balor has just taken the Prince to a whole different level from where he was at before. Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole for the NXT Championship is going to be done out of the arena, off-site, as everybody knows. I don't necessarily like using the term cinematic because I don't feel like that is. This will be there will be a ring. This will be what we do, but it will be different and in a different environment and shot differently. And I think people are going to really enjoy this, and it was spectacular. So I think this will be off the chart. For the NXT Women's Championship, the triple threat match, Rhea Ripley, who we talked about Keith Lee's 2019, you could put her right up there with it as probably on an equal of, one of the best 2019s of anybody in the business. Io Shirai, one of the most consistent performers that we have, and probably in ring, maybe the best female performer in the world, in my opinion. And then Charlotte Flair, who absolutely has time and time again proven herself over the years. And, this is her coming back to NXT and, putting her thumb on everybody and showing them that she's a queen. And this is going to be, to me, it's three of the best performers in the business. And this one is going to be, I have such high expectations for it, spectacular. And then, of course, Tommaso Ciampa and Karrion Kross. Tommaso, one of the toughest, grittiest performers in NXT, against somebody who has just sparked a fire in NXT and I think garnered everybody's interest in Karrion Kross. This is an opportunity for him to show really what he hasn't done yet, which is what does he really bring to the table in ring. And against somebody like Tommaso Ciampa, he couldn't have gone any higher up the ladder. So I can't wait to see that one. So with that said, the card is spectacular. In your house, we're going to bring something old, something new, and it should be a hell of a night. So with that, I'm going to open up to all of you for questions.
Guys, because we have a larger amount of international media on the call, we're going to keep it to one question per person today. Thank you very much.
And thank you. If you'd like to ask a question, please signal by pressing *1 on your telephone keypad. If you're using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, that's *1 to ask a question. And we'll take our first question, Nick Hoffman with Wrestling Inc.
Hi, Paul. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat today.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm doing as well as I can here in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask
Glad to
you
hear that.
about. Thank you. Yeah, it's a tough time, obviously, for everybody. I appreciate your concern. Florida is entering phase 2 of their reopening. They've announced some concert halls are going to be available for shows half capacity. Is NXT and WWE considering running shows outside of the Performance Center in Florida because of that?
So I think, since the beginning of this, we've been looking at all options and trying to figure out, just how to navigate all of this. And as things have changed, we've worked very closely with the government in Florida to make sure that we are doing everything that they want us to do, expect us to do, and then some, and try to stick to everything, CDC guidelines, everything. This has just come about, and we have been looking at options for when this time came. So I think all options are on the table for us. I think we need to understand completely what they're saying can and cannot be done and what they would like us to do, and then we will respond accordingly. But all options are on the table. Look, what we do is for our fans, and we feel like it's our duty to, and have felt like that, to continue to deliver for them. They've been there for us. We want to be there for them, even in this time when they need it the most. People need that entertainment. So the faster we can get ourselves in front of our fans and back to doing what we do, the better, as long as it's safe for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Paul. Looking forward to the show this Sunday.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Next we'll go to Gabrielle Lorino with Every Eye.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, Gabrielle.
You have just celebrated 25 years of career in WWE, in which you have achieved great results, not only as a wrestler, but also outside the ring, and congratulations. Can you tell us a moment that you find particularly significant for you?
25 years is a long time. There's a lot of moments. I enjoyed all of them. For me, even more so than the moments in the ring, I think the moments backstage with everybody and the relationships that you build and the people that I've had the privilege of working with, all of those things will stick with me forever. I've talked about the end of an era match with Taker and, that moment at the top of the stage. For me now, it comes down to moments of watching the future talent grow and knowing that we're giving them that platform, knowing that somehow in a small way we're helping them get there and and assist that. This Sunday will be no different. You're going to see a lot of talent, some of which have been in this position before with takeovers and on that big stage, and some who haven't, and you're going to see them rise to the occasion and grow as performers. And in some ways it might seem cliche, but those moments are almost bigger to me now than the moments of my career. It's akin to watching, doing something in your life and then watching your kids succeed. What's more special? To me right now in this moment, I wouldn't trade any of it. Watching the men and women of NXT and beyond just captivate the world, do what they do, have that opportunity to live their dream. Those are the moments now for me that are the most important.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you. And next we'll go to Sean Ross Sapp with Fightful.
Hey, Paul. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Can you walk us
Sean.
through the process of the Drake Maverick situation, him getting his release, his heartfelt message, and then, him being allowed to continue in the tournament that he was scheduled for until ultimately being offered another contract, including, what point did you all realize that you were going to keep him around? And what does that do for his contract? Is he just effectively on the same deal he had before? Is he re-signed to a new deal? How does that work?
So the Drake situation came about. We already had the tournament booked out, and I believe at that point in time it was a little bit of a jumble with me without going back and looking. But I believe we had it promoted already at that time, and then the releases happened, which are horrible. No one wants to see anybody lose their job, especially in the world right now. But a lot of companies around the world are having to make tough business decisions in this moment in time to ensure that they are still there as this continues on, and difficult decisions were made. He was given the option of continuing the tournament, wanted to, and wanted to prove that he could still be here. If you've met him or know him at all, he's just one of the most passionate guys, and loves WWE, just wants to be here. It's his dream, the whole thing. Couldn't be a better, guy. And look, as we said in the moment of time, when the release happened, it wasn't like he was involved in anything. So, it just happened the way it did. But through the process of this tournament, man, he captured people's hearts. He captured their imagination, and he earned that spot. And, it was already out there in the biggest way possible. So you either ignore it or you turn it into something, and we turned it into something based off of him and his performances. And I'm personally thrilled for him that he can continue to do what he loves doing and what he dreamed about doing, and that he has that opportunity going forward. Because like I said, he's a great guy, and I'm thrilled that we were able to get where we did.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. And next we'll go to Francesco Palmerini with Calcio Republic.
Yes, hi, Paul. Hi, Paul. And first question from Italy is about, of course, Fabian Eichner. And Italy, thanks to Fabian Eichner, has returned to conquering the WWE title, and it did not even happen since Bruno Sammartino, actually. Is this an important signal for Italy, and what do you want to say to the Italian audience?
I mean, look, we look to bring in performers from everywhere. Great performers. To me, it doesn't matter where they're from or anything else. I'm looking for great athletes, great performers, great characters, great personalities. Fabian is all those, and I'm thrilled for him that he's in the position he's in. I would think that's very important in Italy. But to me, he's just a phenomenal talent. And like I said, as we look all over the globe, we have talent from just about everywhere. The diversity of our rosters and our performance center and NXT and everything else is there's a ton of diversity, and I'm very proud of that. So excited for him and excited for the position he's in, and he's got the whole world in front of him because he is an incredibly talented guy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Francesco.
And thank you. And next we'll go to Mike Johnson with PWInsider.com.
Hey, Paul,
Wow,
how are you?
all the way down the list. What happened?
Yeah, Mike, he's
Fightful.com.
people
Good
stuck
thing
at
you
home
come away, right?
pushed you to the right.
Sorry.
How are you?
Sorry. I'm good. I hope you guys are doing well as well. You mentioned the cinematic quality of Velveteen Dream against Adam Cole. We've seen in the last couple of months, WrestleMania was pre-taped. Money in the Bank had elements of live and cinematic. For Takeover, since this is the first one of this era, what's the ratio of live content that's taking place as we watch it versus material that's been taped in advance? Obviously, the cinematic stuff is going to be more production quality and elements to that, but the rest of the show, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so basically everything else in the show with the exception of the Velveteen Dream Adam Cole match is live. And as you know, that match has already been done. And it was shot outdoors, so there was some component to that of weather that we wanted to be cautious of. But everything else within the show, match-wise, will be live.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Next we'll go to Federica Silva with Sport Fair.
Hello, hi Paul. One question from Italy. One of the most important match of NXT Takeover is the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. What do you think about the great success reached by WWE female superstar in the last years?
I'm sorry, I missed the end of the question. Could you repeat it? I know you're talking about the women's match, but I just missed the question.
Yeah, I was talking about the women's match, and the question was, what do you think about the great success that WWE female superstar reached in these years?
So what I believe the question is how well the women have done over the last few years. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
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 Oh God, I'm continually blown away by our women. I have been since the beginning of, when we started doing NXT, and I shouldn't say that before that. Our women have always risen to the occasion, but the opportunity changed, the platform changed, and they took that and made that change happen. So, as for me talking about NXT, I can go back to the pages and past that, the Sashas and the Baileys, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, and all the women that you think of at the beginning of that NXT kind of the change of pace and the change of what women were doing in ring. You fast forward that to today, and more often than not, they're stealing the show. More often than not, they are, telling better stories. It's amazing what they can do, and the in-ring product is off the chart. And I can look at the Performance Center, the athletes that are in it, and you look at the 6 women just at Takeover with Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart, Mia Yim, Candice, Dakota, Raquel. Wow, the depth of what is there, the amount of women that have that ability to steal the show at any given moment is incredible. So I couldn't be more proud of all of them. They have worked so hard for it. They have given everything they have for it. And I think that's why it's so successful. They pour their heart and soul into everything they do, and they've delivered every time. So proud of them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll take another international question. Alistair McGeorge with Metro UK.
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Hey, Alistair, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Good. I thought I wanted to chat to you a bit about cinematic matches and kind of specifically the Boneyard match and Jeremy Borash's involvement. I know he was heavily involved in that. So I wanted to ask you how much credit Jeremy Borash and by extension Matt Hardy kind of deserve with cinematic matches being such a viable concept in these times.
Well, it's a funny thing that people say, like all of a sudden there's this moment that there's this cinematic thing that happened, but like people were doing that, 20 years ago. Rock and Mick Foley, Halftime Heat, Austin and Booker in the grocery store. There's so many of those things over the years that have happened. Did they do a great job taking that to another level? Absolutely. Jeremy's an incredible talent with an eye for storytelling and an eye for image and everything else. And I can't tell you how much I love working with him. The one thing that I don't, I want to be careful to say is there was a whole team of people that worked on that as well. So, Jeremy's name gets thrown in there a lot, but the team that worked on that was a total team effort of multiple people, multiple camera people, to negate the edit process. There are two guys in particular that worked on that our TV studio that just turned it into artwork, to me. The scoring, just everything that was done in that mold. It's like making a movie and then just putting it all on one person. And I don't mean that as a knock to him because clearly he's phenomenal. But there were so many people that deserve credit for that, and it was all done quickly, put together. There wasn't a large planning process around it, so that the fact of what that came out to be was amazing. And I was, to be honest, I was thrilled for, I was thrilled for fans to get to see it in WrestleMania and everything like that. I was thrilled for AJ, but for Taker, to me, that was the thing of just, one more situation where he gets he's coming back, he's going to do this thing, and all of a sudden, man, everything is falling apart around it, and it's becoming something it's not, and it's tough. And man, I was really thrilled with how it came out for him, more so than anybody else. But to that fact, and that's not to negate the Matt Hardy, Jeremy Borash thing that you mentioned. That took it to another level. There's all steps in these things, but to say it all started there, I think to me is not accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for your time. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Alistair.
Thank you. And we'll go back to the U.S. and Kelly Wills with pwtorch.com.
Hey, Kelly.
How you doing, Paul?
Good. Yourself?
I'm not too bad here. Off in the suburbs, so I'm okay. Okay. So we've seen a lot more surprise on NXT in recent months, yes, but even more so lately. For instance, last night I thought Birch and Morgan were used as very effective red herrings to be the next number one contenders when we were really working towards Breezango and something else. And I'm just curious if the amount of surprise that we're seeing is just a series of interesting events kind of converging at once, or was this a calculated move toward more surprise to elevate the weekly TV show?
Well, I think you always want to elevate everything and elevate your shows and across the board. I don't think there's ever a time where we go, well, let's not surprise them. But you just always want to make the best possible show that you can. And sometimes you have great ideas that lead to a nice surprise for people that you hope don't, come out and don't get reported on first and can be a surprise. And, it's actually been one of the nice things with the way we're doing TV now is that you have the ability to do things and not necessarily have it get out there before it airs. And that's just nice from a fan standpoint, of the ability to be surprised, the ability to tune into something and not know what's going to happen beforehand, or not already have the report that, oh, these people are there and they're going to do this in the show tonight. And, you know, it takes away from the enjoyment of fans. And whenever we can do that, we try to. So I'm glad people thought it was a good surprise.
Absolutely. Just great weekly TV recently. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. And now we'll go to Alex McCarthy with Talk Sport.
Hello, Paul. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself? You staying safe over there?
Yeah, man. Things are fine where I am. Thank you very much. I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. Just talking about this weekend, and I wanted to touch on the women's triple threat. Obviously, the decision to put the belt on Charlotte at WrestleMania has various connotations, you know, helping the brand, you know, have a presence on different shows and working with other women to maybe raise them up too. And how pleased have you been with her carrying the title and the matches she's been having? Because it seems like there's a nice cocktail that's led to this triple threat at the weekend.
Yeah, you know, for me, I've been thrilled with this whole thing, and I think this speaks to Charlotte as a performer. And I know sometimes that she's just bashed and because of her dad and her name and everything else, she, you know, no matter what she does, sometimes it's criticized. But to me, this speaks to her as a performer, that she would want to do this, that she would want to work across all the brands if she could, that she would want to carry that torch when it was put in front of her, and to do this. And really the long term on this is building up other talent. And, you know, as spectacular as a moment as Rhea Ripley had, and then going into WrestleMania, I wish they could have had that in the stadium. I wish they could have had that in front of fans. I wish for both of them, for everybody. But, you know, for Rhea and to have that moment and just have it with Charlotte in that stadium would have been, you know, kind of a making moment for her. And to me, that loss almost helps her as a character get to where she needs to be for the long-term arc of who she is. You know, the burnout factor and stuff is intense, and it's quick and short attention spans and everything else. So to me, this is phenomenal. And Charlotte carries with her the aura of, whether perceived from a work or perceived from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, of somebody that is unbeatable, or that is this champion that carries herself in a different light. You feel it. At least I do when I see her on TV, that she carries herself in a different way. To have Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai step into the ring with that and be able to do what they all can do, they're going to tear this thing up on Sunday. And I know they will. There is nothing Charlotte likes more than when people say she's been given something, than going out there and putting on the performance of the night and showing everybody why she is where she is. I know Rhea feels like she's got something to prove, that where she wasn't for a fluke or anything else. And Io Shirai is ready and willing and able to step up to that level. Like I said earlier, one of the greatest, could be the greatest in-ring female in the world. You could make that argument very easily. So this match will be off the chart. I know they're going to want to steal the show. I know they're going to want to take it to another level, and I'm thrilled with where it's at.
Thank you, Paul. I'm looking forward to it too, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll go to Miguel Perez with Marca.
Hey,
Miguel. I'm good. You?
I'm very good. Thank you. To be honest, it's an amazing pleasure for having us today. So,
thank you. Miguel, if you could speak a little bit louder, I'm just having a little bit of a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, sure. Do you hear me well?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. So let's start. 1 year ago, WWE opened a performance center in the United Kingdom. Do you think that there is any possibility to open more performance centers in Latin America or Japan in the future?
Yeah, yes, I think that is still a goal. The international expansion, so to speak, whether that's performance centers, whether that's recruiting in markets, whether that's creating localized content like we've done with NXT UK and having a brand there on the ground. You know, the moment in time we're in with a global pandemic and everything else has you know, obviously put a lot of that on hold, and you have to figure out where things will go after you come out of this situation. But that is very much still the goal. You talk about the UK Performance Center and NXT UK, we're still as committed to that as ever. I can't wait. I know we have a lot of athletes chomping at the bit that can't wait for the reins to be taken off, or the restraints to be taken off, and let them get back to what they do and what they love to do. And I think that product will, once when they're given the green light, that product's going to be spectacular. Just from their enthusiasm, and I can't wait. You know, we have a lot of talent too. When all this first started to happen, you know, talent like Pete Dunne and everybody, we sent them home, just because we could see some of this travel stuff coming, and try to get them back and everything before it became problematic. And now we're just waiting for this to open up so that we can get back to doing what we do, and they can get back to their careers. And so, you know, when all of this is behind us, it'll be very exciting for them, and also globally, that expansion will be huge for a lot of markets.
Okay, thank you so much, Hunter. And again, it has been a great pleasure to talk with you. And I hope that NXT Takeover in your house is going to be a great show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next we'll go to Jason Powell with ProWrestling.net.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hi, Jason. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. So I guess my question today is, are the wrestlers and crew receiving actual COVID testing now? And if not, why not?
So the testing that we do is we have obviously a medical experts on our team, led by Dr. Maroon, Dr. Dugas. So they work with CDC and the government to determine what is the best approach for us to take to ensure the safety and the wellness of our performers. And that is what we do. That is working with the local and federal government. You know, when you begin to talk about various types of testing, and there's a lot of that thrown around, the accuracy of those tests become questionable, and how and everything else. So, you know, we need to do what we're being told to do by the medical experts. And once that widespread testing that is accurate becomes available, we will do so. But the accuracy of those tests has to be there first. But in the meantime, our medical protocols are extensive, and most importantly, they've worked.
Very good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And next we'll go to Rahul Ramakrishnan with Republic.
Hi, Paul. Rahul here.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
Okay. Paul, so I'm calling from India, and there's a huge fan following that WWE NXT has in India. It's been happening in India in the last 2 months, and people are hooked onto WWE and NXT and watching the matches over here in India, because it's WWE is the second most watched sport in India after cricket. So I just wanted to understand you with you that what you faced while pulling off a tournament like Takeover during the current situation, and any message you want to give to your fans in India.
So I missed the first part of the question about the tournament. Sorry, it cut out for half a second. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. So I was just asking, in the current scenario, what are the challenges that you face while pulling off such a huge tournament like Takeover?
Well, in this time, obviously, the safety and health of our talent is first and foremost. So the challenges have been many. Challenges with the location, with keeping everybody safe, all of that, as everybody else has. But we're one of the few things that has been able to stay out there and keep putting out product even without our fans being there. So it's very challenging. And as far as India goes, I'm very excited about our fan base in India. I've been there many times. It's one of my favorite places, and the fans there are second to none. I cannot wait for this to all be behind us so that we can get there and increase that footprint in India. I would love to bring NXT there. I would love to get further into that market and see where we can go with it and develop it and make it increase that fan base and their passion even more. Really, really get in there and deliver something for them special.
All right, sure. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for that.
All right, guys, we're going to do 2 more calls, and then we're going to wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next one will come from Christian Bruns with Power Wrestling.
Hey, Christian.
Paul, good evening from Germany. So NXT last week introduced a brand new version of a cage match with Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle. How did the idea come about for the fight pit, and how did you think of the execution and the potential of having more matches with this brand new cage match concept in the future?
Yeah, so the fight pit, as we call it, sort of came about organically. The right performers were there with Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, two talent that bring a different style, a more ground-based sort of grappling style, and Matt Riddle can do just about anything, and Timothy Thatcher is such a good technical grappling wrestler and so gritty and tough. That type of environment seemed like the right environment for them. We based it off some things of the past, some things that we wanted to see, and we're able to put it all together. I think it really captivated people, and of course the match delivered, which is always the key to that. But I think people were intrigued by it, and I think that has become, or will become, one of the sort of I guess signature matches of NXT, that the fight pit can sort of be the go-to grudge match or something like that, where I think you'll definitely see more of them in the future. I was thrilled with that one. I think fans enjoyed it, and I look forward to doing more with it.
It was great stuff, and I hope that the return of In Your House at Sunday doesn't bring back too many memories of the Hog Pan match back in '95. But thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Yeah, I have nightmares still about the Hog Pan match. Those pigs are big and poop a lot.
Thank you. And next we'll go to Bill Pritchard with WrestleZone.com.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hey, Bill. How are you doing?
Good. So I wanted to ask about the In Your House theme coming back, and when the plan to have this as a themed event came up, if it had anything to do with the current situation, and can you see it returning as an annual event, kind of like how War Games has become a fall event for you guys?
Yeah, it absolutely came about given the circumstances. As takeovers evolved in the beginning, they all had different names, and then as we started going to the cities, we started sort of morphing them into the city and the location, and so it's always a fluid work in progress kind of thought. So as this came about, when we were going to have the opportunity to do a takeover on June 7th on the network, and what should we do there now? Because we're back in Florida and we're in our home, and it's not like you want to go back to the city or anything. So the conversation came up, and it just seemed like the perfect timing for everybody's stuck in their house. It's the perfect timing, and the reaction to it was huge. It was funny that we made the decision to name it In Your House, the Takeover in Your House, and it wasn't until after we'd made the decision that it was pointed out to me that it was like a couple of days before the 25th anniversary of the first In Your House pay-per-view. It was just a happy coincidence. So it all worked out great, and I think we'll see where it goes and the enjoyment level and everything else, but it definitely could become something that comes back, and we'll see how what the enjoyment level is and everything else. And if it's as good as I think it's going to be, I think people might demand it come back. So we'll work on it.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, that'll wrap up today's conference call. As always, thank you for everybody for being on the call. We are going to do a post-show after Takeover this Sunday night, so we will send out details to the people that were on this list. I'll turn it back over to Paul for just some closing comments.
I really appreciate everybody's participation today, and I know there's just a lot going on in the world, and I really appreciate the time and everybody's interest. And I also just please everybody out there, stay safe and be healthy, and hopefully we will get you all watching on Sunday, and I will talk to you after the show and we can chat again. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thanks, everybody. Be safe.